to you all, the brave never fall. Each day that you live in this world, remember that there is always something to celebrate. Don't put magnitude on it. Don't think about how much of something that is in your life that is affecting you one way or the other, how much that magnitude actually means to you, because in the end, it really doesn't mean much other than it's happening to you, which means you can always put it in perspective no matter how bad it is or how little it is. There's always a way for you to put things in perspective, and I found the only way to do that for me is to always remember that no matter how good things have been or how good things have been for you in the past, or how bad they've been in the past, how good they will be in the future, or how bad they will be in the future, one thing that can always be there for you in the present is perspective. You have to know when to celebrate things, but at the same time, you have to know when to acknowledge and accept the failures. Failing for me has been one of the greatest tools for me to become who I am today, and I am nowhere near where I want to be in life. I feel like if there's ever a cap and I can see it, then I'm doing something wrong, because there are other paths I can take to make sure that I'm continuing to be the best person I can be, not only for myself, but for the people closest to me, for the people who love me and the people I love, for my coworkers, for just in life in general, for everything that is going to come into my world. I want to be the best part of whatever that comes into my world, because I feel like I have something to offer as a person. And that's very important, because everybody has something to offer as a person. You're not here on this planet for no reason. There is a reason. It's up to everyone, to figure out who you are. No one would know you ever better than you know who you are. You are yourself. So how can anybody tell you what your worth is, or what your purpose is, or why you're here? It doesn't matter. You're here. You're breathing. You're alive. There's so many people who are doing those same things. They're living, they're breathing, they're alive, but they can't make the choices that you can make. Some people really do have limitations to a certain degree. But when we talk about limitations in people and celebrating the good, the bad, and the ugly, it's all part of the human experience. For those who cannot do certain things, if you're limited due to physical complications, mental complications, we all know that those types of people have been handed cards in life, just so to speak, that are unfair to them. And life isn't fair to anyone. At some point in all of our lives, we all reach a point where we're going to fail. There are going to be things you just can't do that you want to do. That's every human being. It doesn't matter if you have disabilities, mental disabilities. It doesn't matter. Or you quote unquote normal, as society wants to say that we are. It does not matter. At certain points in your life, you're going to hit things. There's going to be points where you're going to want to do something that you physically or mentally just cannot do. But I always found the important thing is that you try, because how would you know you can't do that thing if you don't try? And that's where I always think about the word limits. Limitations that you place on yourself is one of the most harmful things I can think of to do to yourself, because limitations means you're not exploring. You're not exploring the depths of who you really are. And you don't know who you really are unless you've tried out so many different things that life has to offer. So many people get comfortable with where they're at, and they understand this is comfortable. I get it. I like this. But they don't want to dive deep into their psyche and try to envision themselves doing something better, or reimagining something they did horribly wrong, and trying to figure out ways to correct those things so you can bring some closure to that aspect of your life, or even revisit it so you can help somebody else who is going down that same path that you were on. Meaning everything happens for a reason, and you shouldn't throw away bad experiences. I find people often cling on to the good experiences so hard that it becomes a detriment in their life. But they are not holding on to the failures. And I always thought that was curious, because Your failures those are the things you want to hold on to far deeper than you do the good experiences, because they kind of hand off to each other like a baton in a race. You can't have the good experiences if you haven't had the bad ones. People may say, yes, you can. Of course, I guess you can. But are you going to celebrate those victories as much? Will they mean as much to you if you didn't have the failures? Those failures set up those victories, those celebrations that you have, those expectations that you have where you think you're limited by something and somehow you overcome a limitation you believed you had. That can only come from a place of failure, because the fact that you thought you had a limitation is a failure in its own right. Okay, you don't succeed. You get to a point, there's a wall up and you can't succeed. Look at everything you did to get to that wall. That invisible wall of limitations is what I always like to say. You can't see the wall because there isn't a wall there. You're imagining it. The only wall is in your mind. You have to overcome that. Now, when you get to that point where you know this is just not going to work out for me, that's perfectly okay. Because look at the journey you had to get to that point. All those experiences you had trying to get past that limitation that wouldn't have been there had you not started to try to accept that, hey, I'm going to give it a shot. It's that exploration to get to a place where you didn't think you could ever end up. Regardless if you cross that threshold or not, is extremely important for you to go ahead and try to walk towards that limitation that you feel is set upon you. And a lot of times it's unfair because people outside of your life, people who are not you, who have not experienced your life experiences, will tell you what you can and can't do and when you should do it. Not only will they tell you can't do it, but they'll tell you when, as if they know you. I've always have disliked people telling me, are you sure you want to do that? I don't like that question because in a way, it depends on what it is. If somebody's saying, if you're at the Grand Canyon and you're looking over the ledge and you're looking a little bit too far and somebody says, hey, you sure you want to do that? They're looking out for your best interests. But if you're planning a vacation to the Grand Canyon and somebody walks up and says, heard that place is dangerous, you sure you want to do that? What's the difference in those two scenarios? That person is projecting their fears upon you. Something is making them believe that your trip to the Grand Canyon is not going to work out well for you because of experiences and things in their life that they're projecting onto you. Now, if you decide to go and you're leaning too far over the edge and somebody says that to you, hey, you sure you want to do that? At that point, they are trying to help you. There's a huge difference. And I use that example because it happens too much in life. Sometimes people want to take a chance. They want to do something they've been dreaming about doing their entire lives, but they have people in the background telling them, are you sure you want to do that? When they're not even there with you. They haven't earned the right to ask you that because they're not in that same place you are. You haven't gone there with them yet. You haven't gone to that trip to the Grand Canyon with them. You're telling them they're going to fail before they even get in the car. Once you guys get to the journey, if we made it here together, then feel free to tell me all the things that I've done wrong because I will trust you a lot better because you went there with me. You're not telling me before we even start the journey. People are too quick in this world to tell people that they have failed before they even have started the process to even get in a position to fail at anything. The failure is the non-attempt. The failure is listening to others that have no clue what they're talking about because they haven't done what you're trying to do. It is so important for you to celebrate success. But you have to remember the failures. Success is great. I love it. As a runner, there's nothing greater than finishing the race. But the race day is just the reward. That's the reward. When I wake up that morning to go for a race, a marathon, a longer race, whatever, That initial race that everybody thinks I'm training for, that's the reward that day. That is the reward. That's the celebration. I've been training to get to this race, and now I'm running what I trained to do, and it's fun. Race day is fun to me. The hard work came in all those failed sessions where I wanted to run a lot further that day and a lot faster, and then I didn't do it because I just couldn't that day, I thought. Or I gave up, or I wasn't focused enough. Wasn't disciplined enough. Those are the failures that I think of when I'm in the initial race. I overcame all those things. I'm here. I'm running. And nobody can take that away from me because I did it on my own. There are plenty of people who think I shouldn't be running. If I took all their advice, where would I be? Meaning you have to just dig deep inside of yourself and stop listening to all the noise that is getting filtered in through this world into you. It's your path. You take it. But look forward to those failures. Because out of each one of those failures, there is a win. There is a victory. Because you're going to learn something about yourself, one way or the other. Who knows? You may find out in the end you don't want to do the thing that you thought you wanted so bad. But guess what? You don't have to worry about it anymore. Because you went through the journey and you found out it's not for me. But look at all the stuff I learned along the way. Look at all the tools that I picked up along the way. Look at all the knowledge that I gained along the way. I'm a better person even in failure because I gave it a shot. I learned something about myself that I didn't know about. That's why you have to hold on to those failures. You hold on to them tight because they are going to make you stronger. You're going to remember those failures when you get in those situations again that are similar. You know you've already overcome them. There's nothing to be afraid of. You know how to handle this. You got this. The more of those failures you accumulate in your life by pushing yourself to learn new things, to try out new things, and not just to be the same stale person that you know you feel you are inside, or the people who are telling you that you are that way inside, and you have accepted what people have told you that you're this person who can't do this and can't do that. If you've gotten to a place where that's the reality for you, just know that's not the reality. The reality is you have a bunch of people in your life who are content with their lives being content. They are up against invisible walls, and they're not even trying to figure out why is there a wall here that I can't see, that I don't want to go past even if I could. That look at you and see that you are trying to go past that invisible wall. You're not accepting that limitation. You're trying to go past, and they don't want that because that means they got to start thinking, well, what's my problem? And most people don't want to think that. It's better for them to just stay on the other side of the invisible wall and say, you know, this is good enough. This is far enough. Sure, I would like to be happier. Sure, I'd like to be doing this, and this. But I'm going to stay right here until someone like you walks up who is ambitious enough and knows themselves well enough to know that you're not going to be told by other people who you are. You're not going to be held back by other people who decide you should be this person because it'll be best for you. You're not going to be handcuffed to a tree while you watch all these other people do things that you want to do, walk right past you and walk straight through the invisible wall with no effort at all, with big smiles of determination on their face. But you let someone that you feel is a part of your life enough where they can tell you you're not good enough. Or maybe you have no one in your life and you're doing it to yourself. You're telling yourself you're not good enough. You walk right up to the tree and handcuff yourself to it, and you kick the key so far away from you that you have no chance from getting away from that situation. I say you should rethink yourself. Rethink your whole mindset. Rethink where you came from. Wherever you are in life, think long and hard on all the failures. Write them down. Get them in front of you. Pin them to a wall. And you look at them every day because it reminds you of how tough you really are, how strong you really are. that you've overcome far more than you ever thought you would. If somebody was to tell you to write out your life, you wouldn't come up with half that stuff on your list. All the stuff you've overcome, you wouldn't have initially thought you could have done it. You didn't have a choice. Life hit you in the face and you kept going. But somewhere along the way, you forgot about all that. You started focusing on all the victories, but a lot of those victories you have didn't come with a price. They were comfortable. There were things that a lot of times you just did because you had to. And then one day you wake up and you realize you're more than that. And you want to do something about it. There's no better time than now. But you have to understand that's when the real hard work is going to get kicked in. You got to push to another gear. You got to be prepared to fail and fail horribly. You got to be prepared to be mentally drained. You have to raise that bar so high that it's going to take you a long time to figure out how to reach it. And there's nothing wrong with that. Because you're going to be doing something most people don't want to do, which is push yourself to do something you don't have to do. That's what people don't like. The people who are telling you you can't do something, they don't want to see that not only are you doing what you want to do, but it's hard. It's challenging. You set a goal and you're going to get that goal no matter what. Are you going to need some help? Absolutely. But that's where people who have the same type of mindset and goals you have are going to come into play. Surround yourself with people who do the things you would like to do in your life. Not with people who are obsessed with these little small victories, but have no failures to speak of. They don't have them because they haven't done enough. They haven't tried, they haven't pushed themselves. When you set a goal and you get disciplined by it, and no matter what, you're going to reach that goal with the help of others who believe in you, are going to really aid you in life, and you're going to reach that goal, and you're going to go so much further than that goal. That's what's great about goals. Most of the time, if you set a goal, you're going to go far past. Invisible walls? What is an invisible wall when you set a goal? There are none. You're going to go past. That goal is going to get knocked so far out of the stratosphere of your life that it's going to shock you. It's happened to me every time. To the point where I think about it now and it makes me speechless because I had no idea that I could do certain things in my life. But I just made this little goal. Just want to be here. And when you get there, you're going to realize the journey doesn't end. The journey is just starting. That's the best feeling ever, is when you get to that goal and you realize it's not ending. I'm at a new beginning. What's the new goal? Those failures feel so good when you reach your goal. When you finally hit that goal and you realize all the failures you had, you want to hold on to them because that's where the gold is. That's where the good memories are in the failures a lot of times. At least for me it was. It still is. Whenever I go on a string of failures, I know it's for a reason. And that's because I'm trying to reach something in life. And I know that the success will come. I know I'm going to have a time to celebrate. That time is going to come. But in the moments, those precious moments when you're pushing yourself and you got that goal in sight, but you're disciplined enough where it's part of your lifestyle now. The goal, even though you haven't reached it, is already a part of your life. You know you're going to get there. So in a way, start celebrating early. You've already done the hard work. You made the decision to get on the journey to do this. And I'm proud of you for doing it. I am very proud of you. Stay on the path. If no one has told you this today, I love you. You deserve to hear that. Salute to you all. The brave never fall.